I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jackson Strain. I am the Vice President of the Florida Tech chapter of AIAA. I'd like to also take this time to recognize a few people that made this conference possible. From Florida Tech, I'd like to recognize Dr. Duvalli Ferreira, who is our faculty advisor. I'd like to recognize Whitney Reincoaster, who is our conference chair. From the University of Florida, I'd like to recognize Dr. Rick Lynn, faculty advisor, and Wyatt Cross, chair, conference chair. I'd also like to introduce a few people from AIAA that made this possible. Cassie Dellinger, conference coordinator. Jay Dellinger, conference judging coordinator. Alan Lowry, conference treasurer. Kirk Polson, Region 2 Director of Aramis. And Ryan Sherrill, Region 2 Director. Thank you all for making this possible.
So spent 10 years at SpaceX, left SpaceX as the Director of Recovery Operations. That included Falcon 9 landings, both the LZ-1s right down the road, as well as the drone ships offshore. But it also included a couple of other cool operations, such as astronaut recovery, cargo recovery from Dragon, and fairings as well. So if you've ever seen fairings trying to get caught in a net, that was my team. If you've ever seen the team actually recovering astronauts, that was also my team at SpaceX. So I left SpaceX in 2022 and moved over to Relativity Space. For those of you that don't know Relativity Space, we're a 3D printed rocket company. We flew Terran 1 just a little over a year ago. It was over 95% 3D printed, which is pretty incredible. So we were able to test out not only that 3D printing is viable for building rockets and the rocket can handle all the stresses and strain of flight. We also proved flying the LOX engine right off of Cape Canaveral, which was the first time. So we had a lot of firsts on that mission. We've actually retired Terran 1. We're moving into Terran R, a much bigger version, to go compete with Falcon 9 and also be reusable, be able to be land reused again many times over. So that's Relativity. 12 years ago, you were probably 6 years old. And man, do I feel like the old guys saying that, because when people would say, hey, things happen fast, I just kind of roll my eyes. Trust me, 12 years ago I was in your shoes, and it's happened really quickly. Why is this important? Well, when I was in your shoes 12 years ago for me, it was really the first time I ever flew a rocket. So in the upper right-hand picture, kind of difficult to see, was the first time I ever launched a rocket. Really sparked me wanting to be an aerospace engineer. But one of the cool foreshadowing pictures is I caught and recovered the rocket. So you can call it destiny, you can call it whatever you want, but a lot can happen in 12 years. And what's really cool was, again, not only am I in this picture, but Scott Henderson, who will be coming up on stage here in a minute, to talk to you about what the last 12 years looked like for him. So I would like to invite Mr. Scott Henderson, with a really impressive aerospace career, not only in the Air Force, SpaceX, Blue Origin, to give you his thoughts on the industry and how the last 12 years has shaped him. So Scott, I hand it over to you.
This is crazy that 12 years ago we were sitting here and I was giving a talk about Falcons and Dragons and we hadn't really done much at the time. You gotta remember, in that time, 2012, right, the space shuttle was just flying out. There were about 8,000 workers here at the Kennedy Space Center that didn't know what they were gonna do. SpaceX was saying at the time, Elon was saying, we're gonna launch this rocket with like 35 people, not 8,000 people that it took to launch the shuttle. It turns out, I don't know, Joe, how many SpaceX employees are here at the Cape now? Probably 5,000 or something like that, right? So it turns out that it did get pretty interesting over time. The aerospace industry is thriving and there's lots of different ways you can get into it, right? If you think like, boy, it's going to be a decade before I'll be able to do anything interesting in this business, it isn't, right? I mean, it could be your next birthday that you're doing something pretty significant, so that's cool. You've got the passion, you've got the discipline to come to invest in your career and get started off the right foot. And who knows, man, 12 years from now, you might be a superstar in the industry like Joe Lessinger. So Joe, hard to believe it was 12 years ago, but congratulations to you and good luck to all you guys. My last piece of advice I'm going to leave with you is
opportunities aren't always going to fall in your lap. I know that I've been lucky in certain situations I've been in, but being able to also work really hard and push those opportunities to be in your favor is really how to push innovation, and other people are going to follow you. So I wish you all the best here. Good luck in your careers. I hope to see a couple of you at any one of these awesome companies we've talked a little bit about today. Have a great couple of days here and have fun. Thank you.
My role up here is to give you a little bit more of my story, but it ain't about me. It is actually about leaders. It's actually about teams. It's about how you're going to be equipped as you leave the eigenvalues and eigenvectors of your university and you actually start to go into the workforce. So I'm a big fan of what I call the balance of confidence and humility, especially when you're in a test or any sort of high risk kind of thing. You gotta be confident, but you gotta be humble. You can't look at the guy next to you Because then you whiplash, right? You got all that going on, right? So, but when you do that, when you look at the end, that guy's nice and smooth, right? But everything else gets. And at the end of the day, the person that you actually follow is the leader, right? And that's number one. That's up there. That's the only way that you can keep yourself from going this way. You didn't follow the one right next to you. You looked through all that to the leader. The best thing that you can do, in addition to getting your degree and that sort of thing, is become a better full person when it comes to dealing with people and teams, etc.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join you tonight at this great celebration, and also to introduce our special guests later on. That picture up there on the left-hand side, that is me when I was 2 years old, back in South Africa, standing on the wing of my dad's Piper Arrow. And that started a lifelong love affair with aviation. And my wife, whom I love dearly, she's on her 4th career and doesn't know what she still wants to do professionally. I've known that I want to be in aerospace since the day I started mapping. But at the end of the day, it still requires that innovative spark from somebody to set the vision, to set the agenda, to provide that new idea. Think of SpaceX, think of the eVTOLs. We're talking at the tail of some challenges that they're facing. So as important as it is to be part of a team, to be collaborative, to work together, you should all still look in the mirror and think about, am I having that original thought that's going to be able to make change and then create a new opportunity? The American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics is a phenomenal professional society. You've all made the decision to be active in it in terms of attending a conference, reading some technical papers, authoring technical papers, giving briefings, and I really encourage you to continue that, because as you embark in your profession to become engineers, again, in academia, government, research, or industry, these relationships that you forge at AIAA that transcend the boundaries of the organization you're in, the opportunities you get to explore pre-competitive work in a public forum, and the service that you can provide as a member of a technical community or a review of papers, that really helps broaden your background, helps flesh out your experience, and also adds to the vibrancy of this industry, this community we are in. Mark is recognized as a thought leader, a visionary in the aerospace industry, and specifically in the realm of developing humanity's first ever deep space supply chain, an integral capability for NASA's Artemis mission to the Moon and Mars. Please join me in welcoming Mark Weiss.
Good evening, everybody. And start off and apologize for not being my ex-boss, Mr. Banquet, but I appreciate the warm welcome, and thank you very much for that. So I want to inspire you all to think hard about your personal vision, what you can attain. I'm going to talk through some charts today to show you about Artemis, things that a lot of you probably already know, but I really want you to take home the message that you can be a part of this, because I did not think I could be a part of this. And it's still kind of a pinch me moment at times to think about how I was able to navigate this career, and I want to let you all know you can do that same thing. You just have to believe in yourself and have a vision. You got to be good to people. You got to take care of those around you, because that's what lifts you up and allows you to have that kind of a path. In parallel, the agency is working this very complex strategy to really make sure we have the infrastructure in place to have a sustainable campaign back at the moon. So for Artemis 4 is when we plan to have the gateway in orbit. Sometimes it gets picked on in industry. Maybe some of you are pessimists on gateway and why we're spending money on it. But it's absolutely critical, because it gives us an outpost that's orbiting the moon that allows us to do science 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year, even if there's not crew on board all the time. It allows us to take what we've learned in low Earth orbit by setting up a human presence on the space station and move that capability out to the moon, while we help drive industry to step up behind us in low Earth orbit. Gateway then also is a safe haven. So if something goes wrong on the surface of the moon, it's a long trip to get back home. We can immediately get back up to an orbiting platform within a week, depending on where it is on that orbit. We've got a place where we can triage things versus having to come direct home. The shoes that you are in right now is an amazing place, because we are putting this foundation down, and it'll be there. It will be there for you to help us finish, you to help us get all the way out to Mars, for your generation to be the ones that have the first astronauts that get out there to Mars. So really want you to think about the people that you interact with. And that's why I mentioned up front, thanking those that helped you get here, going back and telling people about your experience and bringing them along with you. Mr. Cavan always tells young employees, along the course of your career, don't ever say no to an opportunity that gets put in front of you. Somebody asks you to take something on. Sometimes it's hesitant, right? Can I fit this into my day? Can I make that happen? But it's pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, taking a step in a direction that you might not have thought you could go do. That opens up the next door for you to kind of expand your own career and expand what you know. Good luck to all of you that are sitting here waiting for judging to come. Congratulations for coming here. And again, think and invest in yourself. Think about the people around you, believe in yourself, and encourage you all. You're going to have great careers, and I look forward to crossing paths with you again in 10 years. Thank you.
I'm excited to be here. and this is my first regional student conference, and I have been having a great time, and so thank you all for that. The conference is in 75th year, which is incredible, and the purpose is to give students the opportunity to present their research, get feedback, publish their papers, and to meet one another. AIAA recognizes this as an extraordinary opportunity for students, and we congratulate you for taking advantage of this valuable experience. AIAA is dedicated to shaping the future of aerospace, and a big part of that is developing our future workforce and supporting students' transition to the workplace, whether that's in industry, government, or academia. I encourage all of you to think about where your passions are and where you want to go after school to turn your dreams into reality.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all today. A lot of you may know AIAA from, free pizza, student meetings, or design competitions, but I promise you that there is more to AIAA. So, some of you graduate in one, some of you may be a couple years away from graduation, but as Brian just said, AIAA is here for you when you make that transition from a student to a professional. Whatever that spark is, you can find that and you can give that to the next generation. So
Kurt is a recipient of the 2024 AIAA Sustained Service Award. It's being presented to recognize the sustained and significant service to AIAA and who has shown continuing dedication to the interest of the Institute by making significant and sustained contributions. So we want to present this to Kurt tonight. We had a significant number of abstracts and papers that were submitted to the conference this year. So many so that even with 4 concurrent sessions, we could not handle all of them. So we asked some of the students if they would instead do a poster presentation, and they kindly said yes. Moving into our Outstanding Branch Activity category. 3rd place, Inspiring Young Aerospace Professionals, the USC AIAA Process to Educate, Engage, and Retain, University of South Carolina. 2nd place, Georgia Tech AIAA Year in Review. And in 1st place, Volunteer Spirit and Outreach through AIAA, University of Tennessee. In our open topic category, we have in 3rd place, applications of bio-inspired UAVs for enhanced aerial capabilities, Patish Gandhi, Embry Riddle. In 2nd place, we have managing safety hazards in the preliminary design phase of student-led liquid rocketry program, Michael Johns, University of Alabama. And in 1st place, we have Unlocking New Horizons, the role of Kenya's Broglio Space Center in the commercial space era. Kurt Gugolev Shapiro. Team category is one of our AIAA Foundation sponsored categories, so this is one of our national categories. In 3rd place, we have Liquid Bipropellant Rocket Design, Florida Institute of Technology. In 2nd place, we have validation and development of an atmospheric electroaerodynamic propulsion system, Mississippi State University. And our 1st place team that will represent our region at the international competition, lessons learned from the launch of a student-built LOX jet a-sounding rocket, Georgia Tech. Moving into the master's category. In 3rd place, development of a mechanical stage separation mechanism for 2-stage sounding rockets, Griffin, Georgia, Nishant Sood, Georgia Tech. In 2nd place, designing and manufacturing the University of South Carolina's first CubeSat prototype, Shruti Jahab and Patrick Bailey. Before I name the winner of our 1st place master's presenter, a couple years ago we decided that we wanted to honor someone who had been very important to this region. His name was Mike Freeman, and we decided that an appropriate recognition would be to name our first place Masters winner as the Mike Freeman Prize. And I just want to read to you all what's on here. It is named in honor of Dr. Michael Freeman in recognition of his longtime service to AIAA and the Southeast Regional Student Conference, and for his passion and commitment to educating the next generation of aeronautical and astronautical engineers. Mike passed away about a year ago, so that's kind of hard for me. But I think it's important that you guys know that he was really, really passionate about you all, about the students, about the conference, about AIAA. We can do what we do today in Region 2 because of the sponsorship that he brought in to support this size conference. So with that, I want to ask our first place winners to come up. We have structural health monitoring for launch vehicle reusability using fiber brag grading written optical fiber. Thomas Colici and Andrew Noonan, Vanderbilt University. Finally, we have our undergraduate category. In third place, implementation of alternative pressure sensitive paint for future ground testing, Megan Smitherman, University of Tennessee. In second place, experimental study of rotor sand ground interactions utilizing scaled NASA Dragonfly model. Daryl Nieves Lugo, Mario Vignali from University of Central Florida. Our first place in our undergraduate category has been named after another gentleman who was very instrumental in this region. His name was Stan Powell. The Stan Powell Prize is the best paper award for the undergraduate division in Region 2. It's named in honor of Dr. Stan Powell in recognition of countless volunteer hours devoted to advocating the cause of engineering students at the local, regional, and national levels of AIAA. Our first place winner in the undergraduate category is the characterization of acoustic pressure waveforms in, I can't say it, Reiki tubes with an internal heat source and variable temperature distributions. Emma Signor and Cody Shelton, Auburn University.